Okay, so I think I'll be using more of a book than the slides, but I'll just check quickly if there's anything that I want to use the slides for. So perhaps some examples that are already there that could be helpful. I'm going to use something called notations and symbols as well today. So instead of just formally going through in each of them, on individual basis, we'd apply them in queries. That'll make it easier for me to explain in relation to how it gets executed in a complex search situation. So you would get to know what those notations and symbols are. There aren't many. Okay, so I've reviewed it. Now I know where my slides are for practices. I would like to start with chapter 14 of the book. That is for finding names, and as it says, email, contacts, phones, opportunities, which is jobs, and resumes, and so on. So this is where I'm going to start to show you from the book some of the examples. Oh, before we do that, I remember we left with a question rather than an answer to something that I put in your chat box for comparison between using site : and using the URL. Did you get a chance to look it up? If it's no, that's fine also. It's not compulsory.
Isn't it that when you're looking up in URL, it's like in physically the URL, like the web address? And then if you're searching site, then that essentially just means that within the website itself, including like the header, the title, in text, stuff like that, you would be searching for something more specifically within it?
Correct. Obviously, there's a lot of students that I know who weren't able to. In fact, they put a question, and they usually do on whether it's more appropriate to use in URL versus the site : operator. So I had considered it to be something that's so usual for people to ask. I thought I'd just tell you the difference. Although you've explained it correctly, and but for us, or for Steve, you there?
Yes, I got about twice as many, well, 4 times as many under returns under using the URL.
So let me give you, I'll just give you a theoretical explanation instead of running it in the browser, because I like to get going with chapter 14. What it is, when you get more results returned from in URL, it is simply saying that when you've declared value, which is the textual part, AOFIRS, for example, is a text, a word that has to be present in the URL. So if you are running in URL with the colon and AOFIRS, there could be other links and URLs that contain the word AOFIRS, just because the URL has picked a portion or is directing a portion of the information page that is extracted from the AOFIRS, or it has something to do with the AOFIRS, or it may be just the word used as if it is part of the URL anywhere on the pages that may not belong to the specific domain of aofirs.org. So where we are comparing site with in URL, the site operator is stricter in the sense of how it wants the results to be coming from the original site itself that has a domain aofirs.org. So whatever number of pages are residing in the main domain of aofirs.org or its website, that's what's going to get hit, and that's what it's going to bring back to you. In URL goes beyond just the original domain itself, because the word mark is separated from the domain mark of aofirs.org, and where it is just the word. Steve, you're getting in and out. Are you okay with the connection?
I'm having computer problems today, but I'm back.
Okay. Anyway, whatever I explained, I'm not sure if you got that, but there is a difference. In URL will bring probably more results. aofirs.org is more stricter and it's going to default to pages that belong to the domain directly or the website itself. So this is where the difference is between 4 and 5. Nothing complicated here, just that when you are doing query for finding links that contains the word AOFIRS, which brings you a lot more links, including those that are coming from the domain itself, plus the one that is residing somewhere on the third-party platform, they're going to be revealed. So that's the difference. Now, I would like to start with chapter 14, that is going to query email addresses. This is, the type of area of interest for those that are seeking to scrape data, collect leads, do background checks, find someone. Skip tracing is one example, doing some due diligence, background checks, and so on. So more or less, this area is of interest to anyone who's looking to do all these things. Now, there is a lot of queries that we have shown, which are examples, and they are giving explanations as if there is a description of what it is doing. So anytime you see a query, under it is a more elaborate detail of how this query is set and what you can expect from it. So let's suppose we take a simpler query, and I take a query, first one, that is to search for someone's email address. Chapter 14. And this is my query. I just copied and pasted it here. What is this trying to do? I wonder. There is a name, Jonathan Shaber, and around 10 is something that is used in a more creative way. I'd say it's more of finding information that contains 10 words or more, or 10 words or less, in between the word email and a symbol @ The symbol @ is put inside of the quotes. It is emphasized as a mandatory return. And the second purpose of putting this within quotes is to ensure that being a stop word or something that otherwise is not recognized in the textual way, or it's the semantic that deliberately ignores these functions or these notations, you want to put them within quotes so that they are considered as as part of the returned pages, and not to ignore it. So that's in quotes. Email is emphasized because that's what you want to get to, and generally around somehow gives you more information on account of how certain words separate the word email against the name Jonathan Schieber. This is more versatile, and this type of query gives you slightly better results. Otherwise, what you could have done, and that would be easier, and perhaps most of the people go another way. So there are always choices when you have to do your search, and that choice means that you're going to the choice means that you are going to use different operators for the same sort of query. So if I want to do the same query like this, I probably can. But the fact that the word email might be just close enough to Jonathan Schieber may not be uh, the function that you have asked for. Instead, what you're saying is to find the word anywhere on web page, and Jonathan Schieber could be a name mentioned somewhere, but it won't be as close to the words like email, or would not be in the closest vicinity of the @ symbol. So this is another way of writing. Now, in the third instance, if I use the same query and start to use things like @yahoo.com and then put or @gmail.com, or what else? Let's just make it slightly better. Okay, and then the word email and @ to be found. We can see between these three queries which one is functioning or doing the better job for you. Okay. And then there could be another variation, and I'm just going to keep adding what's coming to my mind as someone who likes to uh, do search for the lead generation. I would also be using things like use the word and then let's look at 5 of these ways in which we can access this information. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all of these should work. In the first instance, I'm going to run it with around and see what happens. So let's run this. Jonathan Schreiber okay, so around 10. So whenever you go to the and open it up, so this is one result, and we can compare these results later. Let's just keep running these. Got 22 results here. I got 19,200 results. Now it is not as precise. You could see that between the previous one where we used around 10, we got a restrictor that sort of makes it more focused search, a more precision search, versus this one, which is just the words it's playing with, and therefore it could have a lot of variations and pretty much not preferred. So let's do this one. Here I'm trying to find email that has an extension or something that belongs to Yahoo or Gmail addresses. So I'm going to do like this at Yahoo. 74 results, but we got Gmail address. We got, if we had any other address that has at Yahoo or belongs to any of these two Gmails or Yahoo, that should be revealed. The word email is there.
This query would pull up social media.
Yes, it will pull up everything that contains the email address of Jonathan Schreiber. But if we had to run something to do with Jonathan Schreiber, which is exclusively the social media search, and you know, in social media, you got handles, or you sometimes have a pseudonym attached to a hashtag, and pretty much hashtag is more consistent with, or it is considered to be a tag symbol that sort of is more or less used for exclusively for social media, but even for other web accounts where the tags have importance, where you know the tags or the name tags organize information in certain categories or areas of interest. That hashtag has a value for doing searches to principally to find the tags, or the you know, the tags are a short form of something that is a category or is given a textual form to identify with a certain type of activity or certain type of information. So those are originally the tags that are coming from way back, that's been used for more than 10 some plus years, except that now it has become a domain of a social media account where they're using hashtags extensively, more so than ever before, but particularly in all websites that are social media sites has these. So supposing on the same note, if I use a hashtag somewhere and it has to do with Jonathan Schreiber, I might want to create another query that says, I'm going to remove this and put a hashtag and just the symbol hashtag to begin with, make it easier. So if I use Jonathan Schreiber with the hashtag only and I've put it within quotes, I need this to be considered mandatory. You would be opening up LinkedIn, and when I go to TechCrunch, which is not a social media platform, but it is a third party that may have a mention of hashtag somewhere. What happened? Was it this page? Hold on. Keep in mind that pages that are dynamic, like this one, which is going to be changing the information displayed here as news or articles, something that belongs to Jonathan Schreiber, sorry. The pages that are cached originally, that are collected and has been archived or indexed with this term or this symbol, may not be there the second time that you come back and look it up, even though the link will take you to that page. But because of the dynamic nature of the content, where the cache page is no longer the same, you may not be able to find that information. So the Google search is directing it correctly, except that the page details for the content has changed. Where is? Okay. So this page has the hashtag, but it does not belong to Jonathan Schreiber. So what we do generally with this is that we are going to take this. Come on, what's happening? My resources say it's saying that it's not doing the job I want. There is a delay when I'm writing something. There is a delay in executing that, putting something in the search bar. It's taking longer.
It makes me feel better that I'm not the only one that's having computer problems.
That's good. Thank you for that. And I'm feeling better too that you have the same problem. So here, I was able to get Jonathan Schreiber's in the Facebook with the hashtag blogspot. Twitter, he has, it's John Schreiber. They have a handle, but it is querying it through the hashtag, which means it is getting to the Twitter to find the handle for Twitter. And if we want to make it even more useful, maybe we can put the symbol at and not put it within quotation marks. Twitter, Facebook, Blogspot, Click Social, these are all social media sites. So there is a significance of using the hashtag. And there is another way that I can use the same symbol by putting hashtag and putting or and separating Jonathan Schreiber .
It appears to have worked better with the hashtag in front of the name.
In this case, what we want is, see, a lot of times, like when you are creating your personal handle somewhere, it all depends on whether or not that handle is available with your precise name, or you need to use a pseudonym. For instance, if I have to use a hashtag for my name, I could only get Naveed R, where R has no meaning. But because this is how it is given to me as available for this name to somehow be able to connect with the hashtag, which belongs to me, I may not have my full name here. It would be my pseudonym. However, if I did internet research, it would take me to an area anywhere on social media that has a tag or a specific location or a category within which I can or anyone can search for my name. So I would rather use this tag and then, look for whoever I want. Say if I wanted my name to be searched, I would probably put, or AOFIRS. Let me just do this. Come on. I don't know why it's happening. This should be without any gap, because that's how the tags are. It has a delayed response for some reason today. It's not doing the job quickly. So I have internet research and AOFIRS with the hashtag. I have, see, all these Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, this is just Pinterest. These are all social media accounts. So if I want to look for AOFIRS and explore all the social media accounts I'm attached to, I would have to find it in the main tag, which is what is going to have information that belongs to or has association with AOFIRS. So internet research, if Jonathan Schreiber is a writer somewhere, in TechCrunch, for instance, or is a writer that is, even if I just put hashtag with the word author in it, and then I put Jonathan Schreiber, I would get all his accounts that are coming from the main tag anywhere in the social media account that has maybe author or writer. I don't know which one to use, or maybe I would put both, author, and I put writer. What is it? Because I don't know what Jonathan Schreiber's handle is, exactly. So he is the author, okay, and this site is your virtual game.tumblr, so it is a Tumblr site. within Tumblr site, there is a what you call a subdomain, your virtual game, and in that you discovered Jonathan Schreiber. You also discovered him in other hashtags, diaspora.org, but exclusively, I don't know, Jonathan, did I write correctly? Jonathan Schreiber. Maybe I can increase something else, like he's in tech, it's a LinkedIn. So see, there are so many hashtags that are different for different platforms. So normally, if I have to use the hashtag to do social media search, I would probably restrict my search to, say, site, LinkedIn, and then I would do this is for LinkedIn. So wherever I have accounts in LinkedIn, that when I click on, should have a mention of these tags, because whenever I'm putting the company profile or even my personal profile, it is going to ask me to attach certain hashtags. And those hashtags are basically either it's going to be company or it's going to be individual, depending on which hashtags you have chosen. So if I have chosen a hashtag while I've written an article somewhere, I've posted something, there would be an area where the LinkedIn will ask you to use certain hashtags. If those hashtags are already there, like internet research or internet research specialist, those will be highlighted or those would be accepted. If you create a new one, it will still be accepted. If it's not a duplicate, definitely it's going to allow you. So the users usually create hashtags, and those hashtags have a following or is an area where specific information that has a relationship or belongs to that naming that you have put against the hashtag, that's where the information is going to be placed. So when you're doing your search in the social media for certain articles, or if you're looking for an individual or a business that is got any attachment to those common type of hashtags, you may want to use hashtag, name of that type of info or those textual words, like internet research or internet research specialist, because that is the category where one must have put it, or where we have put our AOFIRS. So when I'm going to look for AOFIRS within certain area of interest, it's going to find it easily, because that is our business. If it is Naveed Manzoor and it is in a hashtag CEO or director or author, that's where you will find my name coming up. So you have to use hashtag in combination with the name of individual, name of the business, and at the same time, if you're doing social media search to find anyone's name only in social media, then you may want to do something like this. I would put Naveed Manzoor, and that is the name, the individual I'm trying to find. Not, you don't know my hashtag name. It's just that you have to put the entire name, or maybe I'm using pseudonym. So whatever is personalized by me, or what is allowed for me to personalize it, as in Twitter account, that you may not know. So to find something in social media that has symbols like hashtag or @, I would simply do this search and see what it's going to bring to me. LinkedIn, this is not me, this is another guy, but must be coming from Facebook. Now, when you don't see it in the in the social media account, or let's suppose it is in Crunchbase, another way to find out the actual handle or reference to the hashtag or @ for social media is that you go to that site or that page. When you click on it, you will find that it has a mention of something that is in the shape and form of a Twitter handle or social media account. That, like here, this is Instagram. In Instagram, my handle is @Naveed Manzoor without 2 O's, which is not the right name, but perhaps this is the only one that was allowed because they don't want it to be duplicated. So who is to know that Naveed Manzoor without the second O or the double O is my handle? Again, Instagram, SoundCloud, all of these, TikTok, these are my, social media handle or social media accounts, which has a relationship to my name. And that's how I'm going to query into it. So there could be so you can pick it up like in Pinterest. My handle is Naveed Manzoor 016. Okay. So, and if you look at it in the Pinterest, you make your account starting with @. Okay. And look how it is set, Naveed Manzoor 016. Maybe this is what I got. So the symbol itself alongside the name with 2 options that are used in social media searches, the hashtags and @ will do the job. When we are doing investigations to find someone's email address, and that person may have used a name in some form where your generally your first and last name, or typically your name, and anything that you put as text before the @ may not be available, or it may be something that you are forced to adopt to get that account for that particular email. So there could be a different combinations or possibilities that your first and the last name would play, as if it is doing a permutation combination of different ways of using those alphabets or those names to connect and to come up with a pseudonym. Call it pseudo because it's not exactly the whole name. So what we do is we use something called email permutator. Now, email permutator is a useful tool when you are totally, you cannot find any clue of what the email address of a particular of someone's name is. So what you do is that you're going to use this email permutator. It is a free application. It's available online. So what it does is, for instance, I put my first name and the last name, and then I wanted to find combinations that connect with yahoo.com. So this is the result I get. We get 34 emails permutated, or the best shot at how this name could be set, or you can try all of these email addresses. So when I get the result, guess what? From the list itself, I could look at all different variations in how I could have built my email address. But I also found the correct one, which is this one, naveedm@yahoo.com. So out of all these combinations, and testing about, trying them out, figuring out if that could be the right email for that person, you could use that permutator that will keep giving you combinations of how emails can be set. It has the ability to also capture other email addresses that is coming from or is registered for the same named person, but maybe given that pseudonym in combination that it's exhibiting right now. So this is your best choice when you are, then you start to use other tools. So when this happens, you can always use a permutator, we call it. And it gives you more, see, all kinds of combinations. And these are actually live addresses. It has the ability to check if these addresses are working or not, or are they registered somehow. It collects all that information. So with this, you could see that these are all the variations of my name, or how people named Naveed Manzoor has different email addresses in Yahoo account. Okay. And if you pay them more, if this is not a subscription for me, so it is a freebie for, as many as it is able to give you, but there are a lot more. If you pay and you subscribe to it, you will get a lot more. Telephone numbers. Let's take this example. If you are to find someone's phone number, what would you be putting for your query? This is one way of writing it. See here, I have put the area code in Toronto, area that it's presumed to be my domain or my dwelling, 647.416.905 are some of the area codes. So that sort of gives a better idea to the search engine to find it within this area codes. So I could use 905 or 6. So with this, I can get some results. By the way, at times you don't have the word telephone written. There could be other wording such as TEL, such as contact. Okay. So we can do all these combinations. And then I can use the word A and D. Let's try it. Maybe not A and D. It should be sufficient. Okay. This is our phone number. This is the number we use for the company. This was used to be, where is it? Another number, 647-7724. This used to be my cell phone number. And then 416, that's not mine. And find this phone numbers. You could, what else? Let's look at other examples. Here is an interesting one. you could see that alongside the words tel and telephone and phone, I have used in URL contact us. So what this is doing is using the in URL command to allow for the search to go to a page, which, if you look at, and when you click on contact us, if you look at the address bar, you'd see that it has the word contact us, if that is the name of your page. So to help search go to contact us, I'm going to use in URL contact us. Okay. And then, the words telephone, tel, and phone, we can use any of these. Here is another interesting one. Now, if I have to find a telephone number that is missing the middle portion or the 3 digits that are in the middle part, and I only remember area code 905 and I remember it 0753. For me to find the missing part, while I put it within the quotes, and that asterisk would function, this is one function that is not recognized for the way it's written or how it looks, as if it's mirrored or matched exactly being within quotes. It has the function that is recognized for placeholder or placement of missing information. So asterisk would work within quotes, and if I have to find something or the complete phone number, I can always run it just the way I am showing it to you. "488, 488, 488." It found all the numbers that were missing. Steve, is there a particular person that you're looking for or trying to find a clue to, the contact information for that individual? Even if you don't remember the middle name or the last name, anything that strikes your mind right now?
Yes. I do actually know the first and the last name.
Okay, can you give it to me?
First name is John. Last name is Singletary.
How do you spell that?
SINGLETARY.
Okay, anything else that you can think of for
I
contact, like telephone, area code, area, zip code?
actually, the one that just popped up at the very front there is obituary.
Mm-hmm. No, but that's like a deceased individual?
Yes.
Okay. So,
And you found him right off the bat.
yeah, there just was a drop down. I don't know how this popped up. Seems as quite famous. It's been searched quite often. So if it was the, so it's not like you don't. I mean, what is the state or the city or anything?
Virginia.
Norfolk, Virginia. Anyway, it's not like it's a difficult search, so let's just leave it out for now. And here is another one. See, where you have to find any 800 number, or you want to find something to do with the name David in Toronto, the telephone number and all that, you could see that how it's written, right? You can write it like this. And if I have to search for someone's phone number somewhere in a PDF file, you think the PDF file can be queried? Like it could be a thick PDF file that's indexed. Would you know that the search engine would read through the document and collect the textual part and save it for you to match with? Like any mention of Naveed Manzoor, which is where I'm asking it to look it up in the in-text, which means also do a deeper search, but do it in the PDF file, which may be anywhere. I don't know where it's at. I haven't restricted it to my website or my web pages, but wherever it can be found within PDFs and has these phone numbers. So let's do a query. That's not me. Not me. Here's education department. Yes, this is mine. Okay. So it has searched into the PDF and found my name and the phone number. So you know that sometimes if you are looking for, let's say, a citation, a reference within research papers that are held as PDFs, and you want to search the PDF for finding throughout the textual part of it and do in-depth search, you may want to use in-text along with the file type. Remember, the rules are the same. Even if it's PDF you're searching for, in-text is still going to function as long as the index is extracting the textual part from the PDFs. There are so many variations of queries, and they could be many that we can think of, or you know, we can be doing some searches which are interesting, but not necessarily something that I have collected, you know, just for showing it to the students. I'd rather scroll through it, let you look it up, and you'd say, stop, this is the one I'm confused or would like to know more about. That's the reason I'm scrolling this, because there are 400 search queries in complex search. So with that volume, it is best that we look up, like we'll do it together. It's not a problem, except that there are so many, and one of which we may want to just take out to see if it is got something very interesting to talk about. So let me just close the unnecessary ones, and we will do some more searches.
Could I ask a quick question?
Yes, please.
If you, let's say we're doing a skip trace and you knew an individual's maiden name, but didn't know the married name, is there a specific query that would help?
Yes. So if you look at an example we have, there is a use case which talks about a similar situation as you have mentioned. There is a methodology which is in addition to just running the search queries, and that methodology is for you to organize information in steps of how you are going to achieve your goals. And I have it here. I'm going to see if I can run it. Here is the example. And you're going to tell me if this would suit your purpose. I'm going to talk about a gentleman named Dave. Okay. Dave is someone that I have met somewhere on an occasion or on an event somewhere. And that's how I got introduced. Someone said, this is Dave, shook hands, and that's about, as much as I know about Dave. Now, the second scenario is that all of a sudden you found out that this was a very important individual and you needed to connect with this person, but now that you have lost that opportunity, the person is no longer there. How are you going to connect, find out more about this person? And, basically it's kind of a, if you visualize it, it's like finding someone as if someone is doing skip tracing of looking for an individual. So with that example, I can explain to you the process. And within the process, you will find that there would be several occasions when you have to construct search queries. But it is an overall process of, a method of checking or figuring out who that individual is. So if you want me to do this, I can do it. We can do it after break. Take about 10 minutes. Is this something that you'd be interested in?
That
Or
would
it's
be
just the
great.
name alone? Because you will have to find who Dave is by finding first name, last name, and so on.
No, this would be great.
All right. So let's just take a pause here. I'll take a short break and I'll see you in about 10-15 minutes. Okay, I'm back. We can continue now with this example we have. This is about a gentleman named Dave. We don't know his last name. We don't know his middle name. Some of the references, which is the context, or for as much as for whatever information we have, we are going to have to create a relationship chart. And first, we're going to look at the occasion where we met, the location, the profile. Profile generally is based on the visuals of how you observe that person, for their looks, for the age, things of that sort. So you've got that information at least. And so I'm just going to talk briefly about how the flow of all that we are going to discuss is going to be quicker. There could be more details which you can read through in the book, but the page number I'm referring to here is page 199 of the book. So connections, when you observed that this person met, let's say, someone named Glenn Kien, Tim Gunn, and Rollins, all of these are the people that had something to do with Dave, and that is collected as well. So now that you have minimum information, or at least as much information that you could gather, you have these processed as relating to occasion. This was the conference where the event was. Learning technology entrepreneurs and investors, and that was the the title of that, or the seminar was about learning technology entrepreneurs and so on. Location and everything else is here, but let's move fast. Dave, obviously you have to assume that Dave is a short for David. So the Christian name would be David. You don't know the last name. First query that you're going to put together is going to be somewhat like this. Okay. So in this one, we know that the location or the website where this event was held was called elearningguild.com. The title was Learning Solutions. It was in 2017, and the name David is used. So who knows if David was part of the organization, part of the event administration, or was someone who was a participant. You never know. But at least you know the first name David. So with this query, it's going to generate some of these snippets. As you could see, it came up with the different names, including the name David. There was David Smith, there was David Kelly, there was David Bauer. So all of these Davids would start to pop up that has a relationship to this, for which you do have some information, or this event itself. You can do the image searches also, just to see if you can recognize right off that individual look the same person, and then you can connect the name to find the last name. So that's one thing you can do easy. If this doesn't work, I'm sorry, I think I lost connection for a little bit. Were you able to hear me? You there?
You disappeared, but you came back.
Okay. Was my voice there?
Your voice was there, but your image disappeared.
Right.
Okay. So I think I'm having a problem with the GoPro.
But we'd like to know how
this-
you did that. That's a very unique talent, Naveed.
I wished I had that talent to see why things are crashing. There is so many issues today. I don't know what's happening. Maybe somebody used my laptop. It's a business laptop, so If anybody messed with it, I wouldn't know until I came back and I saw that this all of a sudden start to act different.
We
And
just thought
sometimes
you
they
might
do-
have a magic cloak.
No, what I have, what I should have is a camera that should tell me what's going on with my machine, who's touching it. Maybe. Anyway, I don't know where I got disconnected, but anyway, you see this query, Steve, the first query that I put together.
Yes.
Okay, and I found different Davids, with relationship to e-learning guild, and not knowing exactly who it is. So first thing was image search. If I recognize off the bat quickly, that'll be easier. But supposing that does not work, or you couldn't find the picture, you can then do the okay, so here is the outcome, and here are different Davids. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Davids now from this. And let's see how we found the real David, the one that we wanted to find. So what we did is that we started to now look for these, we put all four of these Davids in a chart. And then we wanted to see how they connect with other references where, remember, you observed who David met, shook hands with, or had any relationship with. A bit of information is important to at least know who could be others that you can look for as having a relationship with all of these Davids. So Glenn, Kian, Anne Rollins, Carol, Lehman, Tim Gunn, the ones that we listed before in the first chart we saw, that these were the people that had some connection with David, because that's what you saw. It's visual information. Now you have to start to search for or look for relationship of Glenn Kian with David Smith, Glenn Kian with David Barton, with David Bauer, David Kelly, same way Anne Rollins with David Smith, and all four of them. So you keep looking at the relationship by doing searches using a specific type of query, which I'll show you. That's going to bring in more information about relationships. So let's suppose we did search, and we know that these were different Davids that were, speakers in that conference. And now to find the right person, you're going to start to run queries like this one, for instance, where Glenn Kian you're going to use with around 5 as an proximate or proximity search, and use David Smith as one example, then Glenn Kian with David Barton as another example, so that those relationships are going to require a lot of search queries to run in a more controlled way to see if you're doing it and getting any success. If you are not successful, you can increase the number here, make it 10 or 15, so that it can pick something on the internet that has mention of Glenn Kian with any of those Davids. Okay. Eventually, you found that Stephanie Gurlin, when you did around 5 with David Bauer, you got the right person, is because when you click on this link that got returned, you could probably see the images, or you could see, at least that Stephanie Gurlin had some relationship with David Bauer, while Stephanie did not have, or any of the others did not bring any results in relationship to any of the Davids. The only David that came about is in relationship to Stephanie Gurlin, and therefore when you did David Bauer and you looked more deep by looking up file types using PDFs to go for a deeper search, you were able to get some results returned in PDFs. And when you look at all the results, you would find that this is the right person. You could even find their resumes. You could find all the information about David Bauer. So you were able to finish or at least get some sense of knowing that there is a better chance of David Bauer being the right person that you looking for, and the last name, of course, you could figure out. Anyway, this was the shortest, and then of course you could find the email addresses also. You could find his, employer, and everything that you needed to find, you were able to get to that. This is one way. Okay. And it is more complicated because it's more tedious. You have to run so many different queries. But context, relationship, chart is important, and your observation or based on whatever information you have, that's going to make it successful or unsuccessful. Is that useful?
Yes,
For you, Steve?
that flow chart could be used, like you said, for any number of names or situations.
Yes.
But that gives us some way to start the process.
Exactly, and this is when it is, almost very difficult to get to that. It's not like you are looking for someone without reference or without context. There has to be some sort of bearings of or some connections or references that you need to gather for you to do the search.
But almost in all cases, when we're doing skip tracing, we have some of that information, just like we did on this one.
Exactly. At least you know who the friends are, or someone that it's like finding a needle in a haystack sometimes. So the best option is to use around to get something extracted that would have a relationship to that individual, in one way or another, or could be even, who knows, it could be a bunch of information. This is a detailed search for careers. People usually like to search for job opportunities. So I'll take another one because this has something called 2 dots, which apparently is not doing a good job for us when we are doing searches. Somehow Google have messed up its utility, or the accuracy is not there. But since we are talking about notations and symbols, there is something called 2 dots between 2 numbers or 2 figures that gives a parameter or a range, not to have anything to do with the date, but with numbers, and numbers combined with symbols like $sign. It recognizes money, it recognizes time, it recognizes simple numbers, it even recognizes a range between zip codes, or let's suppose if the zip code range is 32835 to 32839, which is Orlando area, I could probably do a search confined to those zip codes by putting 2 dots in between the 2 ranges starting from or ending. That could be another example we can do, but let's look at this one. For instance, it has the @ and I'm trying to now look at how we have used @ in a different way, or placing it in a different position and using 2 dots for a range of hourly rates. So this query is to be understood. First of all, I hope it executes properly. It has few things which might be troublesome, but I'm going to try it. Here is this one. So in URL, I'm going to look for the link that has the word contact. So the search defaults to a page or links to a page of contact. In text or on that page, I want to find email addresses that has to do with jobs, which has to do with careers at, how the business emails are usually placed. for these type of words being used for specific type of emails, or the departmental emails are somewhat like this. Jobs at whatever the name of the business is, careers at, so you can actually scrape through all those pages that has the business emails information. And here I am also trying to find the in the in text an hourly rate. So I'm sorry, this is HR, that is the department HR at, and then the dollar sign, which means that there could be an offer somewhere, or any job ranges between $10 to $15. I'm going to try that and see if it's going to work. Jobly has an opportunity, and perhaps email addresses where to apply. It's a dynamic page apparently. $15 is there. But then when you get to the page, then you have to look, see, this one is a dynamic one, and it has all the, if you click on any of these, it should have, what's happening here? So much advertisement on pages these days. Let me just click on this one. It is concealing the email address. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use view page source. What happened here? Still pulling the page. Why is it not returning something? Here. It's bringing it slowly. Come on. But browser is not doing a good job. It's taking a long time. Going to try the next one. Where did this come from? So 22K a year, does that mean that it's going to be 40 times whatever? If you do the math, it's probably going to come out to be $10 to $15 an hour, something like that, for 160 hours a month times multiplied by 12. That's when you should get 22K or something around that. You know, these recruiters and these agencies, which are not tied up to the business itself, is making it very difficult to see. I don't want to go to job searchers, none of these job sites. There should be this one, for instance. Let me try this one. This is a business where it should be an opportunity and there should be an email address. So we've got HR at, we've got and what was the query? Jobs, careers at, index HR, $10, $15. Next thing is $10. Here is gift cards will be an increment starting at $10. So $10 is just a number. It may not be the hourly rate, but it could be, you know, the incidentally, this is not an hourly rate, it's a gift card, but because the search is looking at the number and it's going to look at $10, it is going to look at, since it is a choice where we have put or all the time. So we got, you know, something selected as hour at as a choice, and it dropped all of these. But in URL, you should be able to get the word contact. So it did take us to the contact page. But you know, when you are going to do searches using ranges, there would be one shortcoming, and that is if it is a dynamic page and it has to do with a very busy site like HR, recruiter sites, simply hired, people for hire, and all those, you will have this problem of keeping that result tied or matching exactly everything that you've put in your search. So when you're doing these type of searches for job opportunities, the best result to click on will be the one that is coming directly from those sites or those businesses that are hiring directly, or that information is on their website, and not like a la carte, like, you know, 500 job opportunities, 50. So I wouldn't use it for the purpose of getting to, you know, HR sites. I would look at companies. There's another company, Heritage Park. If I click on it, this is where I would be able to find direct opportunities. So in this one, I find HR at, so at least HR email I was able to find, and I'm just looking for the hourly rate somewhere. I don't see the hourly rate anywhere. Let's look at the page source. Hourly rate range is a bit shaky. not happy with the outcome. I wanted to make sure that this is available. So let's just make it instead of this, let's use it in a different way. So I'm going to change the query a little. Should I try this? No, no. $15 per hour. Thank God. I think we should have used it in the right context. When we were doing ad, we were looking for emails rather than the range. So in this one, you could see that if I am looking for a job or a career with $10 an hour to $15, I get slightly better results, and I avoid clicking on the HR site or the recruiters. I would rather look for the sites that's coming from those that are hiring directly. That's where this query is doing a better job. You have to be observant to understand that even though the queries you can create, making your selection for the outcome has to be, you have to be clear on what is coming to you as a better filtered result based on what you really want. So I think that this would work a lot better than using at. So if in the previous query I had not used the range, left it like this, it would be better. Now I want to go to the emails. Do we have the emails that we needed or what we searched for? So now that I'm unable to find the emails on that page that starts with jobs at, and do you know what the problem might be? What am I doing wrong, Steve or Gaurav? Can you tell me?
It looked good to me.
You know what's happening over here? So it says get in touch and all that. You know, this area which you don't get to see as a user, you don't get to see the emails. People are not revealing their emails anymore because they're getting, you know, spam mails. So what they have done is they've concealed it from the user, but I'm sure there is some email address behind that is running. So it may be in the script somewhere. When I do, because otherwise search engine would not even bring it, because it is reading the code. Perhaps that email address is embedded in the source code. So let me try that. Unless they have hidden that in the source code also, should be able to find it. So if I do Control F and I say HR and I say add, that's not here. Jobs, not there. Job, not there. Not there. They have blocked the library. That's okay. So it may have been picked earlier from, you know, when these were cached, but now they have concealed the address. So let's go to the next one. Again. This one is not showing us either. It's showing contact us, but it is not giving me the email address. Okay. Now I'm just going to run one just to see if you can find something in there. That's fine. So it found jobs at. Yeah, it's doing it now. I don't know why it didn't do it before. But obviously the range of the opportunity for the hourly rate, that worked also, except that we don't want to make it too long and it won't work with jobs at or HR at. So that was the reason, but it did work when we did it for finding any sort of jobs that pays $10 to $15. We were able to get to that. Similarly, if we have find this is a long query. So let's look at this one. See, it is restricted to linkedin.com site. In URL, you want to get to the page that talks about the jobs. In text, you want words like remote, freelance. In text, you want a job description or a job title as copy editor, proofwriter. In text, you also want something that is restricted to Florida. Salary is another word, $36,000 to $45,000. So let's try this. It looks okay. I think so. Florida, proofreader, copy editor, contract, remote. Now let's see if it is doing the salary range or not. The two dots has been giving problem for a long time. It's been going on for a while. Show up. It's running so slow, it's frustrating. I don't know what browser has slowed down. Go back. Come on. I'm looking for the range of salary. I see everything else is working fine. Like I can see that it's got the word remote, it has a copy editor or proofreader, all of that is coming, it's defaulting to LinkedIn. But the only part which I don't get to see that's not turning up is the range of salary. And I can't tell you why. I know it's acting up a little bit, but apparently it's supposed to work exactly how Google has stated, and this is the format that we have used, which to us is according to what Google has asked. Or what was the range? The range was 36,000 to how much was it? So I don't think I'm going to be using this laptop the next time. 36,000 to 45,000.
I think it was 40,000. 45.
Where is this picking up this page from then? When I go to the, because it's the, if the date range is working, then it has to be, if it is not showing, it has to be in the source code. Otherwise, it should not be returned. So I'm going to do Control F and try to put the value 36,000. Anyway, guys, let's not waste too much time on this. The range part is not working, and obviously it's not the first time. So I'm just going to have to give up on the range part. Everything else is working fine. And one more thing that I thought I would like to discuss with you, there was a range or a query that is going to be using the range also. So I'm going to try to run it. This is it, 6, 7. This is the query. So if I'm looking for, now we have used the range twice in the same one. Let's see if this might work. I don't know. It's just one of those queries which I know are sometimes they don't work when you're using a range operator. So I'm looking for Airbnb property in Florida, Orlando, Orange County, rent, for rent, range, this house square feet, 3,800 to 6,000. Let's see. Now these are a bunch of properties, okay? And the square footage and all that, we'll just have to click on each one of them to see which one is the one that out of all of this, which is the right one. So if we click on, this is in New Zealand, looking for Florida. What the heck is going on? So let's say Florida. This is Florida. 1,000 feet. $1,500 to $2,900. So $2,071 to $3,554. It's still within the range, 1,500 to 2,900. So 2,900 is all right. And the square footage, 592 to 1,352 square feet. Sometimes square feet is written differently, so who knows? Just have to keep tuning it up. This seems more like it. The square foot, the way we've written it, that may affect the outcome. Square feet, writing it as a whole, or SQFT, or SQFT coming after the, after the number, that would cause a problem. So I removed that. I put $1,500, 2,900, and 3,800 to 6,000 assumed square footage. Okay. So when I look at this, I get to see still bringing. You could see that over here, 673 houses for rent in Orange County, or between 1,750 to 4,209, which is fine. Orlando, Florida, that's fine. So it's bringing the results okay. It's 2,800 a month. It's still under $2,900. So just Steve, all you have to do, just keep tuning up the search, looking at what could be the possible mistakes. Again, Steve, you were out. Steve, you there?
I'm back. My computer, my laptop just logged out and just turned off. I think it's catching something from your laptop.
Or yours is giving me some sort of, it's a bad influence on my laptop as well.
Yeah, I'm going to order a new laptop tomorrow.
Yeah, I think even I have to change my laptop. Next class, I'm not going to use this one because it's become so slow. And today was the day when I wanted things to move fast. I was just showing this query we did, and I was looking at if there was any mistake, just so that these range dots would work. And I saw that I wrote a square foot like SQ with the space FT or SQ without space. There's so many variations with which you write that range. So it was not a good idea to put that word here. It was sort of making 3,800 to 6,000 not get translated, not get resolved. So I removed that. And now when I did it this way, it worked fine. 3,800 to 6,000 square feet was coming, and the price range was between $1,500 to $2,900. And so it did work. So, it is a very finicky operator, it seems like. But anyway, you get a sense of how, this range operator might help. There were other queries that we can do to find, something even for laptops. Let's suppose if we have a laptop to look for. But again, it takes you to a dynamic world of pages which are, there is always a timing difference between when the pages are cached by the index, or it's the time difference between if something gets uploaded on the other side and that page is not collected by Google robots. So there is always a little bit of a time difference. So when you start to click on something that takes you to a dynamic page, the information would have changed, especially in products and services and sites like human resource, like Simply Hired. They are changing. Every minute, every second, the information gets changed. It's an automation of some sort. Same thing with Amazon, same thing with products from platforms like eBay. So they keep changing. Become very difficult when you when you want to put the range operator and you get there, the price may have changed. The picture may have changed. In HR, the resumes may have been uploaded. Everything moves quickly with this kind of, when you're using the two dots. But to the best of, to use it more effectively, you should try to click it to go to sites that are more static, that are not as dynamic, especially if it is a vendor of sorts that has fixed products that stays there for some time. That's where you can actually use it to ensure that it conforms, your query conforms to where it's taken. So anyway, we've got a lot more examples that we can run. I think we will do one more session, and that's probably going, because things had gone pretty slow, not as I wanted. So Monday we'll do more searches, and we'll see what else we can cover. So let's just enjoy our weekend. And Coral has left. I'll see you on Monday then.
That sounds good. Be sure to bring back your magic cape. I like that.
Magic what?
Your magic cape where you disappeared.
Oh, okay. So I'll make sure I have that. But if I disappear, who's going to teach you? That's the thing.
You have a nice
because
weekend.
The students, they disappear on me, while I'm teaching, and that's easy. But I can't do that magic act. That would be a disaster, won't it? I just cannot disappear. So hopefully you'll have a great weekend, and stay safe. I'll see you Monday, same time.
Yeah, sounds good. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Bye bye for now. Thanks.
Bye.